how we doing? My name is James Murphy, and we're going to be talking about RST, or reinforcing steel, or rebar, which it comes in multiple names. The two types, we have two types of rebar. The main type is the deformed rebar, and the deformed rebar is identified because it has ridges on it. And each manufacturer is going to have a different kind of deformation on these, which what these ridges do is when they're in the concrete, it allows the concrete to grab hold of it, other than the second one, which is smooth bar. Smooth bar is just that. It's just like a metal dowel or a rod, and it has no ridges, so when you use that for concrete, it can just slide right off. The ridges keeps it from doing that. Now, there is importance or there's a purpose for the smooth bar, and that's for like expansion joints and like concrete as a metal dowels, to where when it expands and contracts, it doesn't destroy the concrete, it just slides over it. Our rebar, especially your deformed rebar, is going to come with markings to identify your rebar. And it's going to have up to 4. Your first one is going to be like the mill, and it's going to tell you who's making it, what manufacturer makes it. Your next one is going to be the size, which all rebar is going to be measured in increments of 1/8 of an inch. So this is a 4 bar, which is 4/8, which means it's a 1/2 inch thick rebar. Now it also comes in metric as well. I know I got my head cut off. The next one is going to be the style or type of metal, which this one is S. And then you got your grade. Your grade for this one is 60. So your grade, to explain that, you're either going to have 40, 50, 60, or 75. And what that is that's your tensile strength in thousands of pounds. So this one being a 60, it's 60,000 pounds tensile strength. All right, so that pretty much identifies our rebar. Now in the prints, when you go to place it, you're going to read your prints and figure out where it goes, but you're going to splice it, because rebar normally comes in 20-foot pieces, so you're going to splice it or lap it, however they want to put it. And the fall through, if it's not on your prints, is 30 times the diameter, no less than 12 inches for a splice. But read through your prints and your specs, and it should tell you, because it could be 40 times the diameter, no less than 24 inches, or it could be whatever the engineer designed for that specific building. Up here, we have examples of stirrups. Stirrups are rebar bent to for like shear strength and overhangs, like that little concrete slab sticking out above a door. You would use these where it's like a great shear strength. And their stirrups are open in. You can bend them straight like a staple, or you can bend them out like those, that way. Your next one is a tie. This is a rebar tie. The difference between a tie and a stirrup is a tie is a closed loop. It's all the way completely around, and then you will tie it off on one end for that. And you're going to use these like mostly in your columns and your beams. Over here, we have a miniature pad. And a pad, this is what's going to go into a slab. A slab is just horizontal concrete on the ground. Like you're going to build you a mat. This is kind of itty bitty, but most of the time whenever we do our concrete, it's going to be like 20 by 20 by bars, 20-foot bars tied together, and you make your mat. Again, the prints or whatever will tell you where you got to space these out, and you want to space them out evenly, and then you want a big enough group too, so when you pour your concrete, your aggregate gets in here. Some of your pieces, they could be straight pieces, but also you might have a bend in them to tie into like maybe stub ups, stub outs, or maybe around certain pieces. And in the piece right here, you can actually use this in conjunction like with the tie that I was talking about. If you have like a ginormous tie, you can put that in the center and it keeps it from bowing out. Here we have truss bar. These are also another type of bends. And what this does is this allows your rebar to be the top and the bottom of reinforcement, where if you're doing like a thickened edge on the edge of the concrete pad, you would use this one right here. And how it would work is this would be 3 inches off the ground, then it would go down into your thickened edge part, and then your other rebar would sit on top, and you would tie it so it'd be tied together to have your top and your bottom reinforcement. And it works for everything else. If you're doing a concrete pad with CMU block or a brick building, and you needed the thickened concrete to hold the weight of that wall, you would have these as well. And again, it works the same way. except, well, this one's upside down. The bar would just be tied to that. Again, it would have top and bottom reinforcement. And that's how these would work. Also, you have other ties like this right here would be like on the bottom of a footer. If you're tying these in, you would take that, put it, and then double up on that, and then just to reinforce your footer. And that's pretty much it on the rebar. And it's used mostly with concrete, and the reason it's used with concrete is because the expansion and the contraction with the heat and the cold is about the same rate, and that's why it works so well together. But that's it on my video. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.